All right, Bobby's back, and I've got one for you today that's less about who slept with who and more about what the family said when the truth hit the table. Listen, the line that opens this whole mess is this: "It's just family. Don't make it weird." That's what some woman heard at her own parents' dinner table after finding out her sister had been sleeping with her boyfriend for almost a year. Not, "I'm sorry," not, "we'll fix this," just, "don't make it weird." The cheating is the obvious wrong here, but the family response? That's the actual story. Every single person in that house showed up to tell the wronged one to lower her voice so the people who'd actually wronged her could keep their seats at the table. All right, let me walk you through it. The protagonist in this one, I'll call her Hannah. Late 20s, accountant, the type who keeps every receipt because that's just how her brain works. She's been with the same guy, Tyler, for almost 4 years. They live together, they have a lease, they share a car payment, they share a dog. Normal grown-up couple stuff. Not engaged, but everyone in the family talks like it's coming. Then there's her older sister, Vanessa. Vanessa is the loud one, the favorite one. The one who got married at 22, divorced at 24, and has been figuring herself out ever since at the parents' kitchen table. Vanessa moves back home about a year and a half before this whole thing blows up. And the parents, Joel and Marlene, they treat Vanessa like she's still recovering from something. Anything Vanessa wants, Vanessa gets. Anything Vanessa does wrong, somebody else explains it away. That little detail matters later.
So, Hannah and Tyler are doing fine on the surface. He works in commercial HVAC, decent money, weird hours. He's gone overnight a lot. She doesn't think anything of it because that's been his job since they met. The first crack, and I mean tiny, the kind you only notice in hindsight, is that Vanessa starts texting Tyler directly. Not the sister group chat, just him. Little memes, asking him about car stuff, asking him to stop by the parents' house when he's in the area. Hannah notices. She mentions it once. Tyler goes, "Your sister's just lonely, don't make it a thing." And there's that phrase again. Don't make it a thing, don't make it weird. The whole family runs on that script. Whatever's happening, the rule is the person noticing it is the one ruining the mood. I'm sitting here thinking, this is the part where most people swallow it. And for a while, Hannah does. Now here's where she becomes the protagonist instead of the audience. Hannah's birthday is in October. The family does a dinner. Vanessa shows up wearing a bracelet Hannah has literally never seen before. Gold, thin, with a little charm. Hannah compliments it. Vanessa goes, "Oh, just something I picked up." Tyler doesn't make eye contact for the entire dinner.
3 weeks later, Hannah's doing what Hannah does, reconciling the joint credit card. And there it is. A jewelry store charge from August. $240. She doesn't remember a gift. She didn't get a gift. She pulls up the store's website. The bracelet is right there on the homepage. That's when she stops being confused and starts being quiet. This is where the story turns. Hannah doesn't confront anyone. She doesn't text. She doesn't cry. She opens a folder on her laptop, calls it MISC, and starts dropping things into it. Credit card statements, screenshots of the text she can see on his iPad when he leaves it on the counter, location pings from the family share app he forgot he was on, dates Tyler said he was on a job when his truck was, according to the app, parked behind her parents' house for 6 hours. She's not raging. She's filing. The family basically goes, Hannah's been quiet lately. What's wrong with her? Marlene calls and asks if she's depressed. Vanessa, of all people, sends her a long text about sisterhood and checking in. I'm sitting there like, the audacity of that text alone could power a small city.
Hannah responds to all of it with, "I'm fine, just tired, work's been a lot." Because she's not done yet. Around month 2 of the file building, Hannah does one more thing. She calls a lawyer. Not for divorce, they're not married. For the lease, the car, the dog, the joint card, and one specific thing. Tyler's name is on the deed of a small rental condo Hannah's grandmother left her because Hannah added him last year when they refinanced. The lawyer hears the situation, takes notes, and very calmly explains exactly what paperwork needs to exist before Hannah does anything dramatic. Quitclaim deed, refinance under her name only, updated beneficiary forms, documented cohabitation timeline. The lawyer's whole vibe is, we're gonna make this slow and clean on purpose. Slow and clean on purpose is the most underrated revenge strategy I've ever heard, by the way.
Now, while Hannah is quietly doing all this, the antagonists are getting cocky. Vanessa starts showing up at Hannah and Tyler's apartment when Hannah's at work to drop off mom's Tupperware. Tyler starts taking longer overnight jobs that aren't on his actual schedule. Hannah knows because she pulled a copy of his work calendar through a shared Google account he forgot they linked. The texts on the iPad get worse. Vanessa is telling him, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm not reading that out loud, she's basically telling him that Hannah is the safe one and Vanessa is the real one, whatever that means. Her boyfriend is sitting there acting like he's some misunderstood character in a movie. He texts Vanessa things like, "I just don't want to hurt her." Brother, you've already hurt her. You're past that exit. You're now hurting her on purpose and stalling. The false victory moment comes around Thanksgiving. The whole family does a dinner at Joel and Marlene's. Vanessa is glowing. Tyler is glowing. They're sitting on opposite sides of the table doing that thing where they don't look at each other on purpose, which is somehow more obvious than just looking. Hannah brings a pie. Hannah smiles. Hannah asks Vanessa about her job search. Vanessa later tells Marlene that Hannah seems so much better lately. Maybe she's finally maturing. Maturing. That's the word she used. The mom relays this to Hannah like it's a compliment. Hannah just goes, "Yeah, I've been working on myself." I read that line and laughed out loud. Because Hannah's idea of working on herself was a 40-page document with timestamps. Okay, payoff. 2 weeks before Christmas, Hannah does it all in one afternoon. And the order matters because this is what the lawyer walked her through. Step 1, she goes to the bank with her ID and her grandmother's trust paperwork and refinances the condo. Tyler's name comes off. She's been pre-approved for weeks. Done in an hour.
Step 2. She returns to the apartment, packs Tyler's stuff into labeled boxes, labeled because Hannah is Hannah, stacks them in the spare room, and sends the landlord the notice her lawyer already drafted. The lease is in her name only. She's the one who signed it. Tyler is added as an occupant, not a tenant, and the rekey gets scheduled through the landlord instead of Hannah doing some midnight lock change stunt. Another thing the lawyer pointed out months ago. Step 3. She sells the joint car. Yes, sells it. It was titled in her name. He was a co-signer on the loan, not an owner. She pays off the loan with her savings, which closes the joint debt, then sells the car privately the next day. Tyler doesn't know any of this is happening yet because Tyler is on an overnight job that, according to the location app he never turned off, is the parking lot of a hotel 40 minutes away. Step 4. She emails everyone. And this is the part that got me. She doesn't post on social media. She doesn't make a scene. She sends one email. To her parents, to Vanessa's ex-husband for some reason that becomes clear in a second, and to Tyler, with 3 attachments. The credit card statement with the bracelet charge, a clean, dated summary of the location pings, and a single screenshot of one of the texts where Vanessa calls Hannah the safe one. The body of the email is 2 sentences. I know. I'm not asking anyone to pick a side. I'm telling you what I already decided. That's it. No yelling, no accusations, no paragraph about betrayal. Just, here's what is, here's what's done. Why the ex-husband? Because Vanessa had been telling that man for over a year that Hannah's family was the reason their marriage ended, that she'd been isolated by the in-laws. He'd been paying her a monthly settlement based partly on that narrative. The email didn't accuse him of anything. It just put information in his hands. What he did with it, that was on him. Because here's the part the family script never accounted for. For over a year before any of this, Vanessa had been sitting at coffee shops with her ex-husband, telling him a very specific story. That Hannah's parents had iced her out after the divorce. That Hannah had been the favored daughter who got all the support, while Vanessa got frozen out for being independent. That she'd been isolated by the in-laws, meaning Hannah's parents, who were also Vanessa's parents, but the language made him forget that. The settlement he was paying her every month was sized for emotional distress damages from that supposed isolation. And the man, to his credit or not, was still paying because he believed his ex was a wronged woman quietly rebuilding from a toxic family she couldn't go back to. I'm sitting there reading this and going, the layers of fiction this woman maintained for a monthly check are honestly impressive. Different stories for different people. Hannah was the safe one to the boyfriend. Vanessa was the isolated daughter to the ex-husband. Same family, opposite framings, both lies, both running at the same time. Hannah's email didn't say any of that. The email didn't have to. The attached text from Vanessa calling her sister the safe one was automatically incompatible with I was the isolated outcast. One screenshot canceled 12 months of narrative. And then it gets worse for them. Tyler comes home the next morning to a formal notice on the door and his stuff boxed in the spare room with a pickup window arranged through the landlord. There's a sticky note on the first box that says, "Lease ended for you, not the apartment." He calls, she doesn't pick up. He calls Marlene. Marlene doesn't pick up either, because Marlene is currently sitting at her kitchen table reading the email for the 3rd time and has gone very, very quiet. Vanessa, meanwhile, is acting like the email is the crime. She's telling everyone Hannah weaponized private information and tried to humiliate the family at Christmas. I'm sitting there like, ma'am, you and your sister's boyfriend humiliated the family at Christmas. Hannah just sent the receipts after.
Joel, the dad, is the one who actually surprises me in this story. Joel reads the email, looks at his wife, and goes, "We have been protecting the wrong daughter for a long time." That's the line Hannah tells her friend later, and the friend posts it, and that's basically the moment the family script breaks. The fallout takes months, not minutes, because real life isn't a courtroom. Vanessa's ex-husband's lawyer files for a review of the support agreement based on misrepresentation. That kind of motion grinds slow. Depositions, financial disclosures, hearings pushed out into next year. Vanessa is going to spend a long stretch sitting in conference rooms explaining text messages she didn't think anyone would ever read. Tyler tries to sue Hannah for his half of the condo and discovers very quickly that the quitclaim he signed during the refinance, yeah, the paperwork he didn't read, is rock solid. His own lawyer tells him to drop it. The mom, Marlene, calls Hannah 6 weeks later and asks if they can talk. Hannah says, "You can talk. I'll listen once, and then we'll see." That's also a line I can't stop thinking about. Because it's not no contact forever, and it's not all is forgiven. It's a door with a lock on it, and Hannah's holding the key now.
The takeaway for me is this. Everybody in that family thought the rules were be quiet, be agreeable, don't make it a thing. Translation, swallow it so nobody else has to feel awkward. And the whole time, those rules only protected the person doing the worst stuff. The second Hannah stopped playing by the script, not loudly, not dramatically, just precisely, the structure fell apart in about an afternoon. Because the structure was never strong. It was just everyone agreeing not to look at it. The villains in this story didn't think they were villains. Vanessa genuinely thought she was the main character of her own redemption arc. Tyler genuinely thought he was a guy with complicated feelings. The parents genuinely thought they were keeping the family together. None of them thought they were doing something obviously wrong. That's the part that always gets me with these stories. The calm, normal voice on top of something completely indefensible underneath. And the thing Hannah did right wasn't the lock change or the email or the refinance. It was the 2 months of being quiet. 2 months of letting them think they'd won. 2 months of misc folder. By the time she sent that email, there was nothing left to argue. There was only what had already happened on paper.
That's Bobby POV. Subscribe if you want another one. New story soon.